Good knees versus bad knees. That is the question. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Rhythm and Wine with Karen Aline. Here is where we explore the beautiful dance discipline of whining with your wonderful, amazing body, with your style, your sauce. Come, 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 come. And today, I actually didn't think this was going to be a class, but it's going to be one, I guess. And so today I want to explore this bad knees versus good knees situation, especially when we see things that are like a wine and go down where people are down here. And I see a lot of comments like my knees could never um and like once upon a time my knees could do this, not now. And I just want to honor people in that space because mobility challenge changes in your mobility can be for so many different reasons. Okay, it could be age, it could be injury, it could be emotion. Like right now I have a lot stuck in my body that is affecting my mobility. It could be the just day to day, you walk, you stub your toe, all of a sudden a certain move that you used to do out the window for a bit, so when I see those comments, it makes me just be like, okay, if that is not the move for you right now or period, no problem. Your knees can't do that, but they can do something. So I wanted to just like explore ways to approach whining and different moves when you have changes in your mobility for whatever reason. Okay. And even for me right now, I am, for my body, very, very stiff. Very, very stiff. I haven't whined in a couple days. I've been doing some slight yoga and stretching. My back is hurting and acting up from an old injury about a year ago. So there's like changes in my mobility, and sometimes I get frustrated with I can't whine and go down this way or whine and bend over. So, and it's like, okay, Karen, so what can we do and how do we enjoy that? All right. And so I just wanted to share some things that like I've had to mentally adjust to as well. So I'm right along with you. Okay. This is not like I figured this all out. No, it's like a day to day process for me. Um, and so if like, how do I want to do this? So like, you know what? Let's do our thing that we always do. No matter what, I'm going to start with 3 deep breaths before I get into this, no matter what. And these are things that I have figured out that help me um kind of drop into like where my body is right now. And so what I'll do is find a comfortable stance. My feet are going to V because I'm slightly knock-kneed, so it's helpful. It's what helps me be able to like really push off the floor too and use all the entire front to back of my foot, left, right, all 4 corners to like push off the floor. And I'm going to bend, and as I'm coming up with like a deep breath in, okay, I use this as an opportunity to stretch through the front, to even maybe raise the arms, and then exhale and let it go. And also, I'm trying not to lock my knees. I'm maybe adjusting my pelvis tilt, holding my core. But at base, it's like big breaths and a nice stretch. And it helps me check in like, how are we actually feeling today? Okay, let's do that. Oh, yeah. So I'm going to bend down and on a big inhale, come up. Maybe you lift the shoulders a bit, wow, and then exhale it out. Exhale it out. And then maybe this is where you do your check. You're like, hey, I'm pushing off the floor. And which is really just like using this opposition because I find that helps take some of the pressure off my knees. Pushing off the floor, I might tuck my pelvis slightly, hold my core maybe, Oh, maybe pull the shoulders back. Let's do two more times like so. Big, big. Oh, exhale. Ay, ay, ay. Drop it. Whatever the day has been thus far, drop it. I'm needing to say that to myself. One more time. One more time. You can take this as slow as you like. Oh, okay. Oh, I'm sorry. I did forget to say about the neck, like letting the neck hang. And sometimes, again, mobility. Maybe your neck's really tight, so you're like, "No, my girl, I'm not letting nothing hang." It's like it's hurting. So it could just be closing your eyes, and even just the thought of relaxing it, even if it's straight and you can't do, like, this is not an option. It's just to even let the shoulders relax slightly. Just finding what it is in your body that will help you just let it go for a sec. Oh, I feel better. Like now I can speak. Okay, mobility. A wine and go down for me, which if you don't know is this circular movement. Okay, the whining, the whining, the whining, and you go down to this floor. Okay, the perceived floor. However, I truly believe a wine and go down is down from point of origin. So it could be here, it could be here, it could be here. However, down you can be is your wine and go down. And there is so much you can do in any space. So I'm going to just explore how I think about when I don't feel like going down to the floor. And then if you are working to go down to the floor, things you can do. So if I cannot for any reason or I don't feel to go down to the floor, when I whine and go down, it's like, let me just start with a nice classic wine. And I'm actually going to try the opposite direction a bit because, again, my back has been acting up because I've been whining in one way. So I'm just trying the opposite direction. We play over here. We play. So I don't know. Oh, let me make sure my mic's still on. Sorry. Um, I don't know what it's gonna be like, but yeah, lots it gets wonky. But here I'm in my classic wine. Now, like, I genuinely had to figure out my turning radius and pelvis tilt that helps me the most. And I'm really like the active opposition of the floor of like pushing off without locking the knees. So I slightly tuck my pelvis and hold my core most times. Okay, this is still sometimes an active thing for me, and like it will become muscle memory eventually for you. But don't be, if you're like hold it 1 second then let go, you're like, no, it's whatever. And it's not for everyone, right? So I'm doing this, and I tuck my pelvis slightly because as I go down, it just helps with my spine and my alignment. See, I'm switching up my lines. Just ignore what's happening over here. No, no, sorry. I'm like, don't pay attention, but pay attention. Just know, I see, this is like what I'm talking about. Like, consciously, I'm not used to whining in the opposite direction, so I'm all over the place. Don't mind. So this pelvis tuck has helped me, and then just the relaxation of my back and my shoulders, and the looking. No lie, looking helps connect everything because it's all connected. We're moving the middle, but everything above and everything below is in action. And as I even go down, I'm still pushing off the floor. And as I come up, I'm still pushing off the floor. It's like a spring. So I'm like, come up, woo, da da. But I'm not going down far. I'm not. And there's so much you can do here. I don't have to go down, natatal, natatal. I'm going down inches for me right now. and I can still play, have fun. Feel me? And I like, sorry, you're like, okay, we get it. We get it. You know what I mean? Like, and if it, I do feel like playing in your range that feels really, really nice is what's going to help you if you are trying to build to go a little bit further down or you're building knee strength. If you can understand like what's happening in your body, and if you do need a pelvis tilt, if you want to hold your core, if you find like your shoulders aren't relaxed, any of the things that you're just checking in nicely and very gently with yourself as you're doing that, if you are doing it in the range that feels like so nice, then as you go a little bit further down and things start to shift, you're like, oh, okay, I know how to correct. See, me, like I leaned a bit further, so I'm like, oh, I know how to fix this. A little further down, and even in like a wine and bend over, you know, this move, I cannot go all the way down right now. It is not an option. I don't want to hurt myself, but why can it be so? You know, I can wind down, come up, wind and bend over so, wind down, come up, wind and bend over so. And I'm just still pushing off the floor, like push. And maybe I just pedal a little more. Hi, hi, hi. You know? And I'm like, I need to enjoy this space that I can operate in because this is what's available to me right now. So that's my biggest encouragement is to just enjoy how you can whine and what does feel good, and to reframe anything that you um any limitations you think you have to being like, but there are things I can do. Ah. Okay, and if you are working to build to go all the way down to the floor, here's some things that I've done myself which may be different from you. Drop a comment if there's other things you tried, like let's build this. You know, here's some things I've done that have just really helped me. And you're like, do you stretch? Sometimes. Sometimes, but I'm really coming from like no movement at all today to this because that's where I wanted to start from. So any stance that feels good, like some, maybe your thighs are slightly parted or you're wider. Sometimes wide for me all the way down is when, especially when I'm winding, is when my hips are like, we won't be doing it. You know, like even now I'm like hi, and it just gets too tight. So I come in, I come in to where it feels very nice. I'm gonna have a sight part, and I'm gonna do one more breath and check in for myself so I can just relax in this pose. Okay. Ah. Eh, relax it, relax it. And immediately I'm like, okay, man, my pelvis, my core, don't lock the knees a bit, push off the floor. And our checklist is going to be very different for each other. Great. Awesome. And as the reason why I do this checklist, and you're going to see, I have, for me, I've said this so many times, but I'm going to keep saying it because this is why, what I've discovered. This arch I have in my back, which no problem, I don't mind, is how I was born, but it doesn't help me as I'm winding and go down. Wind and go down. I find it doesn't help me in my stability. So when I tuck my pelvis slightly, I find it much easier to go down to the floor. And you may not need that. You may be like, no, that is for me. But it's whatever works. Like, but that has been a game changer in it. And then this push off the floor, especially coming up, especially coming up, I'm really like pushing, using the floor and trying my best. Oh, I lean very forward there. So as I come down, I'm just lifting the heels, only staying on the balls of my feet, only tucking my pelvis, relaxing my shoulders. Hello. And genuinely, I usually am looking down because again, it's connecting. I suggest doing that. I don't know why I'm not right now. I think because I'm trying to also look at you, your beautiful self. But it is very helpful to be looking where you're going as you come down, and even as you're coming up, pushing off the floor, dropping the heels nicely, and letting the neck. And there's so much you can play with the rhythm with this, right? Sometimes you don't I don't even add a whine. Sometimes I could be whining halfway and then I just boom, spring back up, right? Like, and you can play that way. You can play with maybe right now you just get to the point where your heels are lifted and you're like, I'm trying to understand the stability here and what my pelvis tilt is here. And you just play in this space and build some of that quad strength up in here, right? And you're just like, okay, I'm gonna play. Maybe I stop my whine, lower my heels and push up, try to connect the neck. Am I leaning forward? And that's how you can kind of like work on making your way to whatever floor, whether it's the this floor, the C floor, or your floor is here. Yes. Yes. And you're playing like this. And you can still even here lift the heels. There's no limits. There's no limits. Feel me? And I'm not whining for gold right now because I'm very much so interested. And even me saying that, like I'm not whining for gold, it's like everyone has a different turning radius. Everybody. And that's what makes whining so sweet. Is every single person looks different doing it. Whether it's the direction, how they articulate, how they communicate to the music. So that could just be my whine. That it's maybe a softer, like this is my turning radius and that's what feels so nice. And this is my mobility range and I'll whine and go down, you know. We watch me now. You know what I mean? And you're like, oh, this is how I whine and bend over. Watch ya. See? So much. I thank you. Guys, I really wanted to yeah, just have a little reminder, even for myself. Like, I'm speaking to you, and I'm also talking to me because this is a daily conversation. Because I wake up some days, I'm like, oh man, like we're stiff again. What happened? Now I can't do this, and I can't do this, and I can get really stuck in that like loop. And it's like, okay, we can still whine. Like, what happened? Like, we can still do other things. You can still articulate this way. Maybe you do a little undulation. And I saw a comment where someone's like, I could, but my sciatica could never, And it's like, oh my gosh, yeah, there's sometimes you have some serious like spinal issues, whether it's knots, tightness in your back, or like sciatica and all types of things. So finding the movement and your range that feels like extremely sweet and doesn't tweak or hurt, and playing in there, even just mentally for yourself, is a huge release. And then I also think builds on this amazing movement and dance discipline and the infinite amount of ways it can be expressed. Yes. I truly believe. Thank you for joining me. Um, yeah. I don't know if I'm gonna dance per se. Maybe. I think I should. I think I'm gonna try and do a dance, staying out of, like, usually I can come down so, but I think I'm gonna try a dance where that is not my range. I'm gonna work more upward and do things that are a little bit more slight and like play in there and find some sweetness. So you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, me everywhere at Rhythm and Wine 44, and you'll see me put this into action with a song. Please connect anytime. And if you have other things you've tried and done, like drop a comment, share it. Let's all just wine for gold, baby, in our own way. Hello, hello, hello. Okay. Thank you for joining me. I will see you next time.